Okay. All right, everyone. So let's just settle into our meditation posture and just try and land. So whatever it is you've been doing today, whether you're working, and if you have a stressful job, just try, and even if you don't, just try and relax and bring your mind to where your body is. And then just notice what's been bubbling up in your mind today. And check your posture. Your legs, sits bones, hands, shoulders are aligned with the hips. If it's available to you, the ears aligned with the shoulders. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head, just lengthening all those muscles along the back of the spine, just coaxing them. And your head is very slightly tipped forward, just giving yourself a little bit of length along the back of the neck. Eyes are down. If they were open, you'd be looking at a spot about 2 inches ahead on the floor. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, your mouth, and bring your awareness to the back of the head and relax the scalp there, and the ears, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue, and release any tension in the back of the neck. Relax your shoulders, drop your shoulder blades down. And relax the throat and the chest and the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath, noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Slightly warmer as you exhale. And if there are any sounds in your environment, whether that be in your home, pets or people, or outside your home, just allow them to be there. Don't run off and investigate with the mind. And then bring your mind back to the breath very gently. Then just notice what's arising, what's bubbling up again, and notice without judgment, and curiosity and interest. What's happening? And you can also think, maybe, who is it that is watching the thoughts arise? Now just try and put some space in between those thoughts. Again, watching, an objective observer, as the thoughts flow on your river of mental moments. And you're sitting safely on the bank, not entangled, not being swept away, free from those thoughts. Now let's bring to mind all those people of our life, the ones we love, our besties, our support network, our very, very dear friends, relatives, spouses, children, and then those people of our life who we are having a little bit of difficulty with. Now for some of those people it's just that they irritate us, and that is something that we can work on with our own minds. But then there are some people who are harmful for us and probably best to stay away. But we can do good work in our minds around these difficult people, and in some ways having a difficult person in your life is an excellent practice. Lama Rinpoche would say we need to put a picture of them on our altar and prostrate to them, because they are our teachers. And anyway, and then there's those strangers in our life. These are the people who we see on the freeway, in their cars, walking down the street with their dogs at night, the garbage truck, all these people. We tend to focus more on the people that we love, that's where our lives are. But all of these people deserve our equal concern. And why? Because they all have this incredible wish to be happy, they wish to be free from suffering. And they all have this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So just think, tonight we're going to do this practice for all these people of our life, and by extension all sentient beings. And if you do have a friend or a loved one or somebody you know that might benefit from doing this practice, and perhaps they wouldn't be interested to come along or take the time to come and do this, then maybe you can imagine they're sitting next to you, doing it with you. You can just visualize that. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And we create negativity with our mind. So this practice, this process, this purification process is a psychological one. We're working with the mind here. So we just as easily we create negativity with our mind, we can create positivity with our mind. So now we come, first of all, the four opponent powers is the power of regret. And as Rinpoche says, you can actually do quite a lot of purification just by feeling a sense of regret. And so sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So everything we experience is due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of future suffering. We already know what that's all about. So logically it makes sense that we would remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering. Then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, refuge. So we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who's like a doctor. And he has the methods that we can use to purify. So we're wanting them. So it's like when we go to a regular doctor, can you fix my this and that? So it's not that we're wanting our regular doctor to forgive us for getting cancer because we smoked. We're wanting the regular doctor to give us some method to get well. So this is the same thing here. We're not asking Vajrasattva to forgive us. It's not about that. We're wanting his methods so we can purify ourselves, we can heal ourselves. So Vajrasattva, imagine, is on the crown of your head. And you can imagine this is also the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And this is just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. So he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. Remember, he's wearing jewelry, 5-pointed crown, the silks, and in the Royal Indian style, celestial silks. He's got an aura of light around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So try and develop in your mind a sense of compassion for those you have harmed and for those who have harmed you. Because particularly those who have harmed you, they're going to experience suffering in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice for the sake of all these sentient beings and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification, and it involves the visualization of light and nectar, nectar and light, and also recitation of the mantra. So first we purify the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, kind of almost like coming out of a fire hose or from a waterfall like Niagara Falls, from his heart. And this arcs around, enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dudu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dudu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Dudu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is a purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, and all that careless speech, and getting people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar and overflowing, and it overflows quite forcefully as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita duda me boa sutokaya me boa sapokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata Vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So again, as I've been saying, say you're with a friend who's having a problem or something, or needs some advice, or you're just with a friend hanging out, and you just pray to know when is the most beneficial time to say something. Maybe it's best to not say anything. Even though you want to, maybe it's best to hold your speech. And maybe pray that whatever comes out of your mouth can be of benefit to people around you who need you. So next is purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, which arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body. So it's just the same as when we walk into a pitch black room and we switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness. So the moment you feel or you notice or you sense the light from Vajrasattva's heart hitting your heart chakra, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression and anxiety and resentment and grudges and bitterness and jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mepiyatsa Sawa Kamasasame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, the source of all of your own suffering, all of our suffering, are our own delusions. And the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, just imagine it's totally purified. So there's no kind of yucky muck left over in your mind whatsoever. And there's only space now in your heart for love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of body, speech and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. And as you're imagining this light and nectar, if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras for each of those visualizations of the body and the speech and the mind we've just done. Or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely. And it just eradicates even the subtlest, finest, completely subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So it's just a kind of the very last residue. So it can't come back. And as we recite the mantra, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti mipiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda mebawa Sutokaya mebawa Supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa Sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So the next is the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in this purification process. So again, rejoice in your efforts for just even wanting to turn up after you're probably tired. Maybe have things going on in your life. So really rejoice. And there's Drew on a fast coming along as well, so that's really fantastic. So then rejoice also in the efforts you've been making to, work on your habits. Refrain from saying things that are harmful, doing things that are harmful. And without this kind of decision that we make to try and not harm, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff. So this determination, this aspiration to want to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. And so it gives us strength to change. So think of something that you want to work on between now and tomorrow and make a commitment, whether it be for 5 seconds, 8 hours while you're asleep, or 5 minutes. So whatever works, whatever you're able to do. So to conclude, Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand this idea of emptiness, place your mind there for a moment, and we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. Or perhaps you can even think that maybe the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. So there we go. Thank you so much for hosting, Mary. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love, sweet dreams, sleep well, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay.